father's dead.
The Boscombe Valley is a rural region not so far from Ross. The biggest proprietor of the lands is Sir John Turner, who made his fortune in Australia and returned a few years ago to his hometown. One of his farms in Boscombe was sold to Sir Charles McCarthy, who also comes from Australia. Both knew each other on the colony. It would be naturally they continue being together. Sir Turner, apparently, was the richest one, so Sir McCarthy became his renter. They seemed to be friends, though, because they frequently were seen together. Sir McCarthy had a son about 18 years old, and Sir Turner, a daughter of the same age. For the other side, their wives were dead.
On June 30, Sir McCarthy went out of his house onto Boscombe Lake. Two people saw him passing on this path. Both said his son passed there a few minutes later, carrying a spear. They really believe he was following his father. Some minutes later, the boy could have arrived in a propriety. The son arrived at my house with his sleeve and right hand stained by blood, said one of two witnesses. He was asking me for helping, saying,
Help me, my father is dead.
Watson, it's really very good of you to come.
"Hey Holmes."
You know that it makes a considerable difference to me have someone who can do it. But sit down, tell me the news.
"Oh, as soon as I received your letter, I came at once. Although I have fairly stopped patience that I should get grateful if I weren't here with you.
I've known you to be here. And how is your wife?
Lovely as always. But tell me, what's going on? Which is the case for this time?"
The Boscombe Valley Mystery. Have you been worried about it?
"I have just read some news about it.
It seems to be one of those simple cases that are so extremely difficult.
All the incidental evidence points to a boy criminal. First, he appears stained by blood, and before this, passing on the path with a spear. I could hardly imagine a more damning case."
Let me look at the news. Circumstantial evidence is a very tricky thing. They could appear directly for something, but if you change your own point of view a little, you may find it point for something totally different. There are some people there who believe he's innocent. Between them, Miss Turner, Sir Turner's daughter, who convinced the Lestrade to continue the investigation. He's the responsible detective for this case. But excuse me, dear Watson, I suppose our visit has already arrived.
Our visit? Who could be?
Miss Turner and Lestrade, we are ready for our arrival. Please enter, sit down.
We are very glad you could receive us at home.
Mrs. Turner.
Hi, Mr. Ross. Pleased to meet you.
Hi, Lestrade.
I'll take some tea. Do you want some?
Yes, thanks.
So, Mrs. Turner. So, Alice, don't you believe James is guilty? I'm sorry, but I have to disagree with you. I can't see a drop of innocence in this case.
Although it's all finished for me. Mr. Saikonich has a silent feeling about it. He doesn't believe he could have done something to his father.
You had changed your point. If you grow up with him.
Maybe you can hear me. Do you accept some cooks? Yes, thanks. Despite of the fact, I think you have a little quick with your conclusion.
But he is right, I know it. James never did it.
Miss Turner was saying that she knows the why she didn't tell anything to the judge. It's because she was in the middle of the history.
In what way?
Now isn't time to hide anything, isn't it?
No.
James Macaron was very anxious about they get married. They love each other as brother and sister. Then there were the Carol, and she said that was it.
And his father, was he in favor of this marriage?
No, he wasn't, but Macaron was in favor.
Thanks for your information. Can we talk with her father tomorrow?
I'm afraid, because he's in the doctor and the doctor maybe not follow it.
The doctor?
Yes, he's very sick. Since a few years ago.
Poor father.
Yes, but I think that I can get a chance to talk to him tomorrow. It would be a great action, but there are some things that I need to look. Like what? I can see that when the guy was arrested, he didn't get surprised, and this is a light in the end of the tunnel. Watson, read this article about the crime census, please.
Okay.
Mr. James McCarthy, the only son of the deceased, was then called and gave evidence as follows. I remained out of my house for 3 days during my stay in Bristol. When I arrived at my father's farm, I saw him walking really fast. So I took my gun and went to the Boscombe Lake. When I arrived 100 meters from the lake, I listened to the Coe shot. I ran and met him together in the lake. A discussion started as soon as finished. We almost started fighting because my dad used to use violence. When I saw him, he was fairly nervous, and I decided to get out and come back to the farm. But suddenly, I heard a cry from my dad back to me, and what could I do? I came back and my dad died in my arms.
Did your father make any statements to you before he died?
He mumbled a few words, but I can only capture my allusions to your right.
What did you understand by that?
It conveyed no meaning to me. I thought that he was delirious.
What was the point, upon which you and your father had this final dispute?
I should prefer not to answer.
I'm afraid that I must press it.
It's really impossible for me to tell.
What is it?
I can assure that it doesn't have anything with the tragedy.
I understand that the cry of Coe was common signal between you and your father.
To us.
How was it? He even knew that you had returned to Bristol.
I don't know.
Did you see anything which aroused your suspicions when you returned on hearing the cry and found your father fatally injured?
Nothing there.
What do you mean?
I was so disturbed and excited since I already shout.
Yet I have a vague impression that as I ran forward, something lay off on the ground to the left of me. It seems to me to be a something grey in color, or a coat maybe. When I rose from my father, I looked round for it, but it was gone.
Do you mean that it disappeared before you went for help?
Yes, it was gone.
How far from the body?
A dozen yards or so.
Then, if it were removed, it was while you were within a dozen yards for it?
Yes, but back towards it.
I suppose I've already had the solution of this crime. The more I investigate, the more the evidence points to the same direction. See here some footprints, and they are from that tree.
Oh, and that stone.
I see you've already improved your perception, because this tree is the crime weapon. The murderer killed Mr. John McCarthy with this stone.
Have you already known the person who killed him?
All the evidence points to just one person.
I think that the murderer is anything else than... Hey, Sherlock Holmes and Watson. Come on. Mr. Turner is waiting for you. Mr. Turner?
Yes, please sit down. Hi, Mr. Turner.
Hi. Did you get my note?
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
You said that you want to see me to avoid any scandal.
Yes, I've already known everything about McCarthy.
God forgive me. I will confess everything if I knew the boy was on trail.
I'm glad you know.
It will break her heart. It will happen if she knows that I was arrested.
But maybe we didn't do this.
How?
I'm a police officer and it was her daughter who wanted my job and I'm following her interests. And it will be necessary to take off the fault of the boy, however.
I'm dying. I had diabetes for years. The doctor said that I don't have one more month for leave. At the beginning of 60s, on the mines, I was a boy ready to face everything. I made bad friends and I started drinking and didn't have lunch on the mine. I found a hideout and I became a road thief. We were 6 and we had a white life. I was known as Blackjack or Bella Rat. One day we stole a gold carriage. There were 6 police officers and we also were 6. The thing was equilibrated and we defeat 4 of them. 3 of our ones died. We pointed the gun to the head of the carriage conductor, the same McCarthy. Now I see that I feel better if I had killed him. And then we run to the England with the gold and separate of my old partners to begin another life, another good life. Everything was going well, my daughter and I, until he appears.
Father, I have just arrived at the farm. The man said that he didn't know where you were.
I came here to rest. But say, have you started to like her in the capital?
Dad, I don't love her!
You don't know what you're saying. She is Mr. Conan Doyle, a rich farmer from London. Imagine how much money you can earn from this marriage.
Fuck the money! I don't care about the money! But it is the important thing in my life.
Your turn.
My father! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Rat!
Rat! Help! Help!
At the judgment, James McCarthy was set free and he married Miss Alice, and the McCarthy survived for 7 months. For the other side, the couple lived happily forever without knowing the black past.